This is a podcast about one woman's mission to help entrepreneurs and business owners write better business books. Each week, we tackle your writing excuses, because there are excuses too, and help you beat the blank page of doom so that you can write the book that'll grow your life and your business. Now here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the 1000 Authors Show. I'm Vicky Fraser and this is my husband Joe.
Hello.
Hello. Joe's wearing a dressing gown.
I've just got out of the shower. Just got back from a class, had a shower, now we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, and I am...
Then I'm going to bed.
And I am dressed like three of the Spice Girls, which I will explain in a moment.
Excellent.
So we are drinking...
Misery tea.
Joe's drinking vanilla rooibos.
Red Bush.
There's a combination
Rooibos.
of two words. Red Bus. I'm going to start with that. And I am drinking lemon and ginger.
How very grown up of us.
I know. Cheers. Yeah, and so Joe is in his pajamas because he's just been training BJJ, which is very good of him because yesterday...
Yay.
Oh, did you bring it? Did you bring it in?
No.
Oh, Joe.
I know.
If you follow me on Instagram at TreeFrogToe, I put Joe's bling on Instagram. Yeah, so I was really proud of you. Joe won gold and silver yesterday in the Hereford National BJJ competition.
Hereford Open BJJ.
Hereford. Yeah. You won gold.
There were only two people in my division and I was both of them.
That's not. You won gold in your category, didn't you? And he won silver against the youngsters.
Yes. I fought in my category and I fought in the category of younger blokes. And I got silver in that one.
Yeah,
and gold
which is
in
awesome.
mine.
Well done. Yeah. So that's really cool.
I was pleased.
And I am dressed like the Spice Girls because I am, you may have noticed if you're watching the video, you probably won't have noticed if you're listening to the
It's difficult
audio.
to tell just by audio.
Yeah. I am wearing my glasses. And the reason I'm wearing my glasses is that I have scratched my eyeball, which is exactly as irritating as it sounds.
Nasty.
And they said, actually they were really cool because I popped in on the off chance that they might be able to have a quick look to Specsavers. Hi, Specsavers.
Hi, Specsavers.
And they did have a quick look. I only had to wait a couple of minutes. And they put some dye in my eye and they were like, yeah, you scratched your eyeball. Don't wear your contact lenses for a couple of days. Have some eye drops. And they didn't charge me anything.
It's nice of them.
Really nice of them. So normally I would be like, yay, small businesses. But Specsavers have just been really nice to me. So yay, Specsavers.
Okay.
Big businesses can be good too. Anyway, I'm wearing my glasses. So I was at Pole earlier and I was wearing the outfit that I'm wearing right now, which consists of kind of 90s Go Faster stripe jogging bottoms, this hoodie, which is branded with the studio, and my glasses. And I was also wearing my 8-inch stripper shoes. And I walked out to fill up my water bottle and my friend Jade was like, this is the most epic outfit I've ever seen. It's like sexy, sporty, nerd. And I just thought, yeah, I'm three of the Spice Girls all at once.
Nice.
Which is just really cool. So that's what we've been up to this evening. And Joe, what are you reading at the moment?
I'm still reading book 2 of N.K. Jemisin's Gate.
Is it The Obelisk Gate?
The Obelisk Gate, yes. The 5th season series. Yeah. And I'm on book 2, The Obelisk Cake.
And are you enjoying it? Cake. The
Obelisk Cake.
We're hungry. Are you enjoying it?
Yes, but I've slowed down a bit. I rattled through the first book when we were in the treehouse.
Yes.
Which was beautiful and amazing.
Oh my god, the treehouse.
So I'm a bit slower on this one because I'm only reading like the 3 lines I can read before I fall asleep.
Yeah.
But it's very good. Very good.
I'm glad.
Good stuff.
And I am reading, actually I've literally just finished reading, but I can't talk about the next book because I've like 10 pages in. I've just finished reading The Next Step in the Dance by Tim Gautreaux. And it is set in a place called Tiger Island in the deep south of Louisiana. And I think it's set in the 80s when there was like the oil boom and bust down there.
Okay.
And it's kind of a romance. This is one of the books that was recommended to me when I went on the reading spa at Mr. B's.
Hi, Mr. B.
Hi, Mr. B's. And the guy who did my reading spa was so great. And I'd said, I don't really read romances, but I wouldn't mind reading one that's a little bit smarter because I'm not interested in Mills and Boon crap. I can't do that. But like things like I really like the Shopaholic series, which is really daft.
Oh, jeez. Really?
It's really daft and it's fun. I can read a Bookaholics book in like 2 days. Because it's just like Shopaholics book, yeah. So I told him that, and he came up with The Next Step in the Dance, and just said, give it a try. And a couple of times I was like, oh, I feel like I'm wading through it a bit. But I didn't put it down because I just loved it. It's beautifully written. It really gives you a feel for what the Deep South is like and all of the swamps and, the bayou, and really gives you a feel for what it's like to go from having enough money to really really finding yourself plunged into poverty and trying to live a life and, fall in and out of love. And it's beautifully written. And yeah, I just loved it.
What was it called?
The Next Step in the Dance. It's not very well known, and it was published by Mr. B's has a publishing house called Finch Tepper. Oh, that's terrible. I can't remember what the publishing house is called. Oh. But it's them. It's that bookshop, and they publish stuff. And I think this is the second book that they've published. And so I want to go and read his other book now, this guy. So it's really, really good. Cool. And the non-fiction book that I'm reading at the moment is still Atomic Habits by James Clear. Yeah, I've almost finished it. I love it. The reason it's taken me so long is because I'm writing a lot of notes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not just kind of turning the pages and...
No, I'm writing a lot of notes about it.
Notes,
which you can't see. It's great, and we will do a review of that at the moment, because that brings me to what today's topic is.
What is today's topic?
It is The War of Art by Steven Pressfield.
This is a very book review-y podcast.
It is, because I thought, you know what? I'm a writer. I teach other people how to become writers and authors, and I don't think we've ever done a book review. And so I would quite like, every month or so, I think we're going to review a book and encourage people to join my Bookaholics Anonymous book club, which is totally free.
Cool.
So there'll be a link to that. But yeah, one of the books that we read a little while ago, I'm just trying to remember when we wrote it. March. There we go. We read it even.
You read it in March.
Read it in March. Is The War of Art. And if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, by Steven Pressfield. Now, Steven Pressfield is a really interesting guy, because he is he was a fiction author primarily. I think historical fiction. Okay. So kind of in the vein of Clive Cussler, and, it'll be vaguely historically accurate kind of thing. But I think Steven Pressfield, and this is really bad, I've never read any of his other stuff. I've only read his non-fiction. But he writes I think he wrote about one of the big Greek wars. Mm-hmm. And it was almost fictionalized account of
Helen of Troy and all that.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And I might be totally wrong and doing him a massive disservice. But the reason that I got interested in him is because he has become very, very well known, like the top of his field, for breaking through creative blocks and winning. Well, the subtitle is Break Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles. Okay. Because anyone who has ever tried to write anything of any substance will know that one of the first things that happens is that you sit down and you're like, nope. And it's just difficult. Yeah, it is difficult. And so he is all about how you kick through it and just get the work done, how you do the work, really. And so his book is a great book, actually. It's a really interesting book. Oh yeah, so so his fiction books, he's done a load called like The Profession, Killing Rommel, which is based on Rommel, The Afghan Campaign, based on all that kind of thing. The Legend of Bagger Vance. Oh, he wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance. Yeah. Which is a very famous film.
It is.
Yeah. So, and the other non-fiction books he's written is Turning Pro, Do the Work, and The Warrior Ethos. So there you go. And he's got his own publishing company as well. I'm pretty sure that Black Irish Entertainment is his publishing company. Yeah. So yeah, but I liked the book because it's nicely organised, and I wanted to talk a little bit, not just about the substance of the kind of content of the book, but also about
the way it was done.
The way it was done as well, and how it's organised. So it's got a foreword, which is fine. A foreword is a good idea if you think that you can get somebody who's well known in your industry. Robert McKee is an author; he's a fiction author, and so he got Robert McKee to write the foreword, and he sort of says Steven Pressfield wrote The War of Art for me. Kind of book that's just perfect for me. And then it's structured really nicely. So
it's not a big book, is it?
It's not a big book. No, it's only.
This is not an intimidating book.
Like 163 pages or so, 165 pages. I'm just wondering if it's got a table of contents. Not sure it has. Talk amongst yourself, Joe.
Well, it's a beautiful sort of just above A5 book. The typeface is very clear.
It's nicely spaced as
well.
It's
very spaced, yeah.
Actually, that's really important. If you're watching this, you can see that there's quite a lot of white space between the lines, and
it's easy. It's non-threatening, isn't it?
It's non-threatening, yeah. Okay, so what Steven, he doesn't actually, I don't think, have a table of contents, which is really interesting.
Shocking.
And I'm certainly not going to sit here and tell Steven Pressfield how to write a book.
Hi, Steven.
That would be awesome if he was listening. But it's interesting because I would normally suggest, especially if you're writing a how-to book, the kind of book that I wrote, which is How to Write a Book.
Yeah, the sort of thing you're going to refer to and want to find where you got that bit of information from and come back to. Yeah.
Whereas what Steven Pressfield has done is a little bit more, I think you can dip in and out of it more easily, and it's fine. But it's nice because his introduction is broken into 3 different kind of sections, which is what I do, and that's where he talks about what he does every day, his routine. Mm-hmm. What I know, and that's literally just 1 paragraph. And the unlived life, and that's where he talks about the fact that most of us have 2 lives, which is the life we live and the unlived life within us. Between the 2 stands resistance.
Okay.
And I really like that because, to me, that feels like it sums up every person who, wishes they could accomplish something but doesn't.
Because of the resistance.
Yeah. And it's not that they can't do it. It's not that they're not capable of doing it, because every human being is, most people are born on a pretty level playing field. And even the ones who are disadvantaged still have it in them to go and do greater things.
Whatever it is that you are currently doing, you can always do something else.
Yeah.
You can always change it a bit or do it differently or move in a different direction or make a few decisions and go that way instead.
Yeah, and it might be much harder for some people to do it than others, but, it's tiny beetle steps.
It is possible.
Yes, it is possible. And so I really liked this because it just kind of summed up. And it doesn't matter whether you're writing a book or creating a product or learning something. If you, it's like me. If I want to be able to play the guitar, which I do, I simply need to sit down and practice. And sometimes sitting down to practice is really, really difficult.
Yeah, because there's more immediate things.
Yeah, and it's not even that there's more immediate things. And the part of the reason that I really like this book, which is The War of Art, is that Steven Pressfield treats resistance as like this outside malevolent force.
Right.
And I really like that because he's kind of not saying put the responsibility somewhere else. What he's saying is it can be quite useful to treat it like something that's trying to scupper you, basically, trying to sabotage you. Mm-hmm. Which is what it is. It's almost because there's kind of been a lot of research done into how our brains work and how many personalities we have, if you like. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, what do you think? Because people are different depending on the situation that they're in, aren't they?
Of course.
And you've got your inner voice and your outer voice.
Yeah, you have your family person and you have your work person and you might have your mates person and your pub person. Maybe your public speaking person. You might have loads of them.
And you've also got that voice in your head that nobody else ever hears because that's the one that's whispering poison in your ear. And that's the one that Steven Pressfield kind of describes as the resistance monster. I can't remember what he calls it, but that kind of thing that's trying to stop you. I call it your inner dickhead. Mm-hmm. And it's just, this book is all about really how to beat down your inner dickhead and how to kind of overcome what's going on.
Be able to make those decisions and move on.
Yeah, because if you can't overcome resistance, you're never going to get anything done. It doesn't really matter.
Well, no, you'll just do the things that you're used to doing.
Yeah, and you'll never progress.
Yeah, you just carry on.
Yeah, you won't do the things that you want to do. Because the book I'm reading at the moment, and we'll talk about this when we review this, Atomic Habits by James Clear, but he said something in the book really early on that blew my tiny little mind. And it's kind of really obvious when you think about it, but when you sometimes read something and it's like, whoa. And he says, winners and losers have the same goals. Mm-hmm. And that just blew my mind because I think we are told so often to focus on the goal and the end result. And it's like, oh, what's your goal? Set big goals, set your goals and this is how we're going to get to it. And we don't think about what it is that we do every day to get ourselves there. And the difference between winners and losers is not the goals they set, it's what they do every day to get there. And that, even though I kind of knew it on some level, when I saw it written down like that, it was just like choir of angels, Mm-hmm. It's like, whoa. And it was, and I think that's related to this because he's talking about all the things that you have to do every day. It's like, all you need to do is sit down and write, which
just do that thing.
Kind of sounds easy, but is not quite so easy. So some of the things that we took from this book when we talked about it in Bookaholics, I'm looking at Rob's sketch notes right now.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob. Rob is a fantastic cartoonist. You should totally go to everyonelovescartoons.com and have a look at his cartoons because he also runs courses. I've done a couple of his courses and he's great. We both learned from Sean D'Souza and Psychotactics, which is really cool. So yeah, the thing that I'm looking at the moment, the book note that I'm looking at the moment, the sketch note, and I should probably share these if I'll ask Rob if it's okay.
Yeah.
But he's kind of drawn a piano. But the quote that he's taken from the book, which I really liked, one of the things that stops us from getting started is that we don't tell ourselves that we're not going to write our symphony. We tell ourselves that we're going to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we don't tell ourselves that we're not going to write the book. We say, oh, we're just going to start tomorrow.
Yeah, next time.
It's the same thing.
After Christmas.
Yeah, and they both mean the same thing. They both mean I am not going to do this thing. But one of them is, less...
Well, yeah, it's much more palatable to say, well, I'll do that next week or tomorrow or after Christmas or whatever.
Because at the time, and I don't know if you've noticed this phenomenon, but it happens when people kind of invite you somewhere as well, or it's a few weeks ahead and you think, oh yeah, that might be fun, because in your head it's really easy to go and do that thing. And then it comes up and it's like tomorrow and it's like, oh, I don't really feel like doing that anymore. And it's the same thing, I think, when you're writing a book or you're practicing, or anything that you want to get better at. Planning to do it is super easy. Mm-hmm. Actually sitting down to do it is not. Do you find that with what you do at work and BJJ and stuff?
Yes. I certainly find it easier to do the loud, screaming, immediate thing than the strategic, planning, considered thing. Which is a little bit of a different issue, I guess. But yes, it's a lot easier to say, well, I'll sort that system out next week. And deal with all this shit now.
Yeah.
Sort out the system next week so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And next week I'll just be dealing with shit.
Yeah. But if you were wanting to write a book, then that's what, all of that immediate shit is what would push writing the book out of the way.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, of course.
And so it's got to, and that is just an excuse. It's like this immediate stuff that has to be done now is almost always just an excuse, because unless the actual building is on fire, there is nothing that's that important that it has to be done now, Usually. I mean, it obviously depends on, it obviously depends on, if you're a doctor and you're actually working in a hospital, you can't just put aside an hour and be like, no, screw those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The gizzards are all over the table.
Yeah, but I'm talking about people who are like, oh, I'm talking about me right now. Oh, I really need to go and do the laundry. It's like, no, the laundry will wait. There will be laundry tomorrow. I can do the laundry tomorrow. So I think that's really important, is to think about the story that you're telling yourself, the internal narrative, because it's very important. The stuff that we tell ourselves becomes real. Yeah. And if you're telling yourself you're going to do it tomorrow, you're not. You start now. If you're sitting there listening to this and thinking, oh, well, I could, but I'm just gonna, go and watch telly for half an hour. It's like, don't watch telly for half an hour after you finish listening to this podcast. Spend that half hour writing 100 words.
Yeah, start that habit.
Yeah, start that habit. Okay, next thing that I wanted to pull out. Okay, yeah, so this is what I was talking about. He describes resistance as like an external thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you could do that one.
Oh, okay. So he says resistance is like the alien or the Terminator. It cannot be reasoned with. It has one object: to prevent us from doing our work. Yeah.
And that's what I call your inner dickhead.
I suspect that's one objective.
Objective, yeah, I think so.
To prevent us from doing our work.
Yeah. And that's its sole objective. It's like when you think of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and she has to get lucky every single time, and a vampire only has to get lucky once. And resistance only has to get lucky once, but you have to fight resistance every single day, because it's got this like one singular objective to stop you from sitting down and doing the work. And you've got to fight that every day. And all it has to do is just be like, yeah, just do my thing. Seems like quite a lot of effort to overcome. So I think it can be quite useful to treat it like something that's outside of yourself. Mm-hmm. Makes it maybe a bit more palatable.
Easier to fight against.
Yeah, easier to fight against something that's big and scary and outside of you than it is to fight against half of your own brain. I seem to spend most of my life fighting my own brain.
You need some goldfish, girl.
Do you really just have goldfish going around in there?
Yep.
I don't think that's true.
I can just switch it all off. Right. Next thing. The most important thing about art is to work.
Nothing else matters except sitting down and trying. Mm. And that is the thing that I try and get people to do, is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the words that you write are shit.
Yeah, if you throw them in the bin, that's fine. What you did was you sat down and you wrote something.
Yeah. And it's like Stephen King says, amateurs, amateurs sit and wait for inspiration to strike, and the rest of us sit down and go to work. It's like, if you want to write a book, if you want to write for a living, if you want to do anything that is creative, and almost everything is creative, really, then you just got to sit down and do the work. You've just got to start, because even if you think what you're going to do is going to be a total bag of shit, that doesn't matter, because it's the tiny beetle step that you're going to take to get better. And you know what? Sometimes you just have a shit day, and that's okay. Ooh, a professional seeks order. And I think what he means by that, if I remember rightly, is that you treat it like a job. So you don't sit and think, oh, I'm a creative, so therefore I can be fluffy about it, and I'm
chaotic and
it's like schedule time for writing. Block it into your diary and treat it like your best client. And this, again, is something that I tell my coaching clients to do. Is one of the first things we do is, right, we're going to go through your schedule for the next 3 months, and we are going to carve out writing time. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that you've got time to write. And it's not just going to be fitting it in here and there when you can, because if you try and fit writing in when and where you can, you never will. It just won't happen. So it's super important.
Okay. Turning pro is like kicking a drug habit or stopping drinking. It's a decision to which we must recommit every day.
Yeah, that's a really interesting analogy, I think. Because having a few friends who are in recovering addicts, I have come to realise that it's not like you wake up one day and you're cured. It's something that they have to keep working at every single day.
Yeah, keep pushing against.
Yeah, every day they wake up, it's like, this is the person that I'm going to be today, and it's like you have to do it again and again. And I think it probably is similar. It's because it's an identity thing. It's like, what kind of a person do you want to be? Because the habits that you have and the way you behave all form the identity that, the person that you are. So what kind of a person do you want to be? It's much, much easier to be a person who sits on the sofa and watches Netflix.
Yes.
Much easier. And that's fine, because humans are primed, and, it's an evolutionary advantage for us to be as lazy as possible, or it was, because it was conserve energy, as much as possible, conserve energy. Now we've got too much food, and that's a very bad strategy. But our brains haven't caught up.
Yeah, we haven't evolved to understand that yet.
No. And so we are all lazy. I am lazy. You're lazy. Given half a chance, what are we going to do? It's every time, because you're always like, oh, you never sit down and you never chill out. That's because I am really well aware that if I do, I will never get up again. And so I'm probably not very good at relaxing. But I do get a lot done. Not as much as I would like to, though, because I'm lazy.
Ugh.
So yeah, you have to decide who you want to be every day. Do you want to be a person who's writing a book? Do you want to be an author? Because if you do, you need to make that decision every day that you wake up. I am an author. I'm a writer. That is who I am. I'm going to write today. Even if you only write 100 words. Yeah. That's what you're going to do. Really important.
Ambition is the most primal and sacred fundament of our being. Not to act upon that ambition is to turn our backs on ourselves and our reason for existence.
See, I like that as well. Because I'm not like a massive believer in, people are put on this earth to do one thing and that's it. But I do think that most people at some point, if they are thinking deeply about what they're doing and, making choices and not just being drifted along by life, they will wake up one day and realise that this is the thing that they want to do.
Okay.
Because I know that I did. It's like, I am a writer, and I can't even remember what was the day that I woke up and kind of thought that's what I need to do. But that kind of reminds me, I've got a quote just behind by Mark Twain, and the quote says, "The two most important days of your life are the day you're born and the day you figure out why." And that kind of relates really well to what Steven Pressfield said, I think. And also, yeah, I think it's like a betrayal of yourself. If you've got this ambition and you want to do something, I think it's a betrayal if you don't try. Yeah. You might not succeed, but try. If you want to write a book, don't let yourself be sabotaged by your inner dickhead. Yeah,
just a bit of laziness and Netflix and distractions.
Yeah. I mean, even just the process of writing the book is a magnificent thing. You'll learn a lot about yourself. And yeah, just don't allow fear and apathy to stop you. It would be a tragedy, I think. So that's all of the notes, and I think I've said all of the other things that I wanted.
This is a good book, right?
It's a really good book. Yeah, it's really easy to read. It's really nicely written.
Really good book.
Yeah, it's nicely written. You can dip in and out of it. It's split into kind of, different... Book 1 is resistance, defining the enemy, and that's kind of looking at who it, what the enemy is, which is that kind of external alien thing. Book 2 is all about combating resistance and turning pro. And then book 3 is beyond resistance, the higher realm. So, and I think that really is once you've got the habit of working.
Yeah.
And it becomes wrong to not do it.
You've physically changed from being the person who didn't do that stuff to the person who does.
Yeah. So, yeah, and for me, that would be like writing every day. I'm just looking at my little habit tracker template, and last month I wrote every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And the month before I wrote every single day. I think I'm on a streak of 76. My previous big streak, I think, was 300 or something days.
Wow.
And then I broke it and I was gutted. And so now I've got it up on my wall with red crosses, and I don't want to see those red crosses break at all. But I've got all my habits up there.
Good.
Because that's the person that I want to be. Not doing so well with some of them, but the key is to do more than you don't. That makes sense. Cool. So we'll be looking at another book in maybe a month or so.
Okay.
And next week, we're going to be talking about why you should do something difficult.
Good topic.
Yes.
You definitely should.
Joe will not be wearing a dressing gown.
Joe will not be ready for bed.
And I will not be wearing my awful glasses.
Oh.
So what is going on in my world? Well, my book is out and it's printed, and I am planning a big book launch for January.
Nice.
There's going to be lots of cool swag for people if they get involved with the launch and help me sell more books and all the rest of it. So that's going to be really cool. And I am running a writing retreat in Fuerteventura in late February for a week. So that's going to be really good fun. You didn't know about that. I did tell you. And I've already had like 4 people say that they want to go.
Excellent.
And I'm only taking 6 people.
So if you want in on that, you better move fast.
If you want in, drop me an email, vicky@vickyfraser.com, and let me know. And I'll let you know what's going on. And if you've listened to every episode of this podcast...
Crazy person,
yeah. Email me your postal address and I will send you a little silly superfan gift. And as always, if you've enjoyed this episode and this podcast, please go and rate us.
5 stars.
On iTunes, and review us. We'd love a review.
Reviews are good.
Yeah, and share us and subscribe. And yeah, subscribe on YouTube as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can subscribe down there. There's a button.
Down there?
Just down.
Over there.
Maybe there. Somewhere down there.
Okay.
And I think that's it. My stomach's growling. I'm
starving.
really hungry.
I'm so hungry.
We're going to go now. We'll be back same time next week. Thank you so much for listening, as always. Harriet, thank you for being magnificent assistant. And Podfly, thank you for always being really patient with my last-minute shenanigans. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. You can find links and show notes on the website at moxiebooks.co.uk/podcast, where you can also sign up for the best daily emails in the multiverse and find loads of free resources to help you write your book. We'll be back the same time next week with more tales from the book writing trenches and the latest on what the tiny sheeps have been up to.